All right, we're back with a section 11.2 special right triangle. So after the long last video that we did laying down the foundation for unit 11, we have a much simpler section right here. I will start off by saying that there is no like cute way to memorize these two special right triangles. You just kind of have to know them, study them and their relationships. So the first one we're going to look at here is a 45, 45, 90. So obviously both angles are 45. The last angle would be 90. So here's how it works. Both your legs, we would call these legs, are the exact same length. To find the hypotenuse, you just take your leg times the square root of 2. And then if you want to go the other way, if I give you the hypotenuse, you want to find the leg, you have to divide by the square root of 2. So that one's pretty easy. If you recognize you have 45, 45, 90, the legs are the same, you just multiply by the square root of 2. 30, 60, 90 now, however, not quite as easy, some different relationships. So we're going to base this all off of the shortest of the two legs. Now, how do you know which one's the shortest? You find your smallest angle, 30, and you go straight out. That's a short leg, so we're calling that x. Now, if I know my short leg, these are pretty easy. I can take x and I double it to get my hypotenuse, and I take x times the square root of 3 to get my long leg, the side opposite of 60. So here are some examples. So wow, look at this. 45, 45, 90, pretty easy. Both my legs are the same, so they're both 5. If I want to find the hypotenuse, I take my leg times the square root of 2. That's it. You just kind of have to know it. Otherwise, you can always do trig ratios, but that's going to be way more time consuming. We have a 30, 60, 90. Now what I know here is the hypotenuse. So the side opposite of my 30 is my short leg. And remember, on these we base everything off the short leg. So if my short leg was x, this would be double that. So if I want to go the opposite way, I just take half of 12 to get my short leg, and that would be 6. And then if I want to find the long leg, I take my short leg, which is 6, times the square root of 3. So there we go. Finding the missing sides of these special right triangles. Let's go. Use special right triangles to find missing side lengths. So that's basically all this is. So we have 45, 45, 90. So we know our leg is 9 times the square root of 2. Even though it's not asking for it, this other leg would also be 9 times the square root of 2. And then x would be my leg times the square root of 2. You always take your leg times the square root of 2, even if there is a square root of 2 already there. That's fine. So here's how that would work. 9 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 would be 9 times the square root of 4, or 9 times 2, which would be 18. So 18 would be your hypotenuse. Now here, on 30, 60, 90, again, I'm given my hypotenuse, so to find the short leg, I take half of it, so that would be 4. And then to find the long leg, I take my short leg times the square root of 3. And that's it. So example number 4, and the last example, solving a right triangle. Find all missing lengths and angle measures of a right triangle. So we know that A is 30, so holy cow, that must mean that B has to be 60. This is a 30, 60, 90. Who would have guessed? So we know all three angles now, so we're good. Okay, now here's where things get a little bit difficult. I'm given my long leg, the leg opposite of 60 is the square root of 7. So normally, we've been given the short leg here, and I just take it times the square root of 3 to get my long leg. So if I want to go in reverse from my long leg to my short leg, I have to divide by the square root of 3. So I have to take 7 divided by the square root of 3. And then we run into this issue that we talked about in the first section where you can't have radicals in the denominator, so you have to rationalize. So we'll do this, multiply by the square root of 3 over 3. So we get 7 times the square root of 3 over 3. And that you can't simplify anything else, so that is A, because it does say, by the way, use exact answers, which means no decimals. Radicals in simplest form only. So that's my short leg. Now, once you know your short leg, you can take that and double it to find your hypotenuse. So how would you double this right here? Well, just multiply it by 2. Now, what's getting multiplied by 2? Only the numerator and only the number outside on the numerator. So if I were to double that, it would be 14 times the square root of 3 over 3. And again, you can't simplify. So really just knowing these two things, like I said, there's no easy way around it. You just kind of have to know them. As soon as you recognize them, you're going to save yourself tons of time. But that is it for section 11.2.